Shalom, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, to all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, who taught us this word. Peace and salutations to all full elect across the planet Earth, pushing this truth to the spirit and sincerity and truth. So I got a couple articles regarding the goings on over in the Middle East. So it's like the war is intensifying. Well, it's not technically a war because Congress hasn't approved it, so they're just considering it a conflict. But eventually, it will, you know, snowball into something bigger. Obviously, World War III is not going to pop off until the MOTB is pushed. But this war or this conflict is going to have a lot of consequences worldwide, as far as gas prices and oil prices, and just the rising of costs, which is going to have a negative effect on consumership, around the planet Earth, and also the invested interest in Russia through the Strait of Hormuz and all that. But according to this article at TASS.com, it says the U.S. to continue operation against Iran until it achieves its objectives. So they're just going to move forward with this, and eventually, Lord will, it spirals, out of control. The U.S. leader emphasized that Washington cannot allow Iran to possess, long-range missiles. Donald Trump stated that the United States will continue its military operation against Iran until its objectives are met. Combat operation will continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all our objectives are achieved, which is control, over that oil, just like they did in Venezuela, but Russia also has an invested interest, in that Iranian oil. As the scriptures say, they're going to be a guard to Iran and these other Middle Eastern and Asian countries, So we'll see what happens. But the next article, political assassinations, that RT, dated yesterday, March 1st. Moscow slams U.S.-Israeli strike on Iranian leader. Because eventually it's like they killed their supreme leader, the Ayatollah, and along with his family, because that's blood on their hands, They took him out, as long as with other high-ranking military officials that got killed in those attacks. So this is just, these countries are starting to really start to hate the war, as the scriptures say, like the NATO and EU countries, as well as the BRICS countries. The U.S.-Israeli political assassinations against Iran have no place in a civilized world, said the Russian foreign minister. Has said, commenting on the death of the Islamic Republic supreme leader Ayatollah Ali. Tehran confirmed on early Sunday that the 86-year-old leader was killed in one of the attacks. His daughter, son-in-law, and granddaughter were also reportedly lost their lives, innocent lives. This man takes, that's in the scriptures, man. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Khamenei's compound was struck in a powerful surprise attack, vowing that thousands of targets in the Iranian leadership will be killed in the coming days. So that's just innocent lives, man. There's no reason for that, just because they want, a missile, to protect their country. But the point here, the conflict also threatens maritime traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. The statement said, adding that the disruptions in the key waterway could lead to major imbalances in global energy markets. So yeah, I mean, this is going to have an impact worldwide. Right here it says U.S. Israeli strikes target Tehran as Middle East oil and gas shocks grip global markets. So that's going to have an effect on the market worldwide, including, Russia's invested interest in that oil, because they want the oil, man. But at the end of the day, it's all part of, the Most High's plan. Yeah, first scripture is Nahum 3:1. Woe to the bloody city! It's full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not. Yeah, the bloody city. Somewhere here in America. Just woe unto the bloody city, because eventually, America's going to be destroyed. Destroyed. It's full of lies. The bloody city, going back to even to the time of Gad. They murdered Gad. This whole land is full of the blood of Gad and the Israelites. But it's also bloody because it's committing murder across the planet. Killed this man's whole family. And Netanyahu vowed that thousands of targets in the Iranian leadership will be killed in the coming days. It's full of lies. Talking about how they invaded Iran, or they wanted to invade Iran for the people. They couldn't care less about the people in Iran. Next scripture, Psalms 10:1. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thyself in time of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor, and let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Let them be taken in the devices. And that ultimate device is that nuclear destruction. They created that nuke, and it's going to be their demise. It's going to be used to be taking them out of power, says the NLT. The wicked arrogantly hunt down the poor. Let them be caught in the evil that they plan for others. So they're going to be caught up in the evil that they plan for others, man. And their own devices. And the ultimate device, is that nuclear missile, man. America's going to be completely destroyed. For the wicked boasteth in his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. Yeah, they bless the greedy. The elites. America likes to bless. They get with these Israelis, take over these countries so that they can, bless the covetous, bless the greedy, man. For the wicked boasteth of the heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, man, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, though the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Lord, the Most High. Most High is not in all of his thoughts. Yeah, these guys, they always talk about, MAGA, Make America Great Again, the Bible. Uplift the Bible, it's the law of the land. And you got these places like Charlie Kirk and Turning Point and all these. Most High is not in all their thoughts, man. They say that, they don't really believe in the Lord deep down. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. For all his enemies he puffeth at them. Yeah, he goes into snare. He traps up his enemies, man. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. Yeah, he says, as he feels like he'll never go down. He says that his house shall never fall. Yeah. This is the pride of thy heart have deceived him, But the Lord's going to take him out of power. Psalms 49:11. Their inward thought is that their house shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Yeah, like Africa was named after a Roman general, Africanus, Scipio Africanus. America, America Vespucci. They named the lands after their own names. So it's talking about Esau, man. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. Yeah, this man thinks he's never going to go down. They think America's never going to go down. They see it, but they're still going to fight to stay on top. They see their country falling. That's why they're going to all these wars, and they're starting wars, and they're killing all these innocent people, because they feel that their house is going to stand forever. But the Lord's going to slowly bring them down. That's their inward thought. Their inward thought is, their houses shall continue forever. These elites, mainly these elites, feel that they're going to be on top, forever. But the Lord's going to put a monkey wrench in their plans, man. And their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names, man. But the Lord has a surprise, man. This is Revelation 12:7. And there was war in heaven. And Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels. That's that war in heaven, man. And the Lord returns in the midst of World War III. That's why we look forward to these things. We hasten the day. Because in the midst of World War III, Yahushua is going to return with Michael the archangels, and the whole sky is going to be filled with the chariots of heaven. And they're going to go to war with the Air Force, these different Air Forces, F-16s, F-22s, and all that. They're going to fly up there and try to fight the Lord. But they're not going to prevail. It says right here, and prevail not, neither was their place found any more in heaven, meaning rulership. Yeah, no more, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Meaning, they're going to be brought out of their powership, their rulership, that power seat. And that great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil, and Satan, of Esau, which deceiveth the whole world, deceived the whole planet Earth, man. He was cast out into earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So this man's going to go down, right? But he feels in his inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. But really, it's not, man. The Lord is going to take him out of power. Right? When the Lord returns, man. It says, let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined, They'll be taken out of their own plans, man, their own wickedness, man. And then it says, let them be caught in the evil they plan for others, So, but, just a couple articles I'll bring out real quick. So they're not going to, the U.S. is saying that they're going to continue against Iran, until it achieves its objectives. And what's that? They want full control over that oil. They want to put up a puppet leader in Iran, take him over. But Russia is against it, man. They were against the killing of that supreme leader and his family. They're against those strikes and all that, along with these other NATO nations, man. Russia, they're a BRICS nation. This whole planet is coming against, the U.S. The least of the flock is drawing everyone out. Israel, man, the Israelis, with this war, because the Israelis are the one that's really pushing this, and the U.S. is backing the Israelis. But eventually, it's going to turn into a full-fledged war. But first, the chip has to get pushed. The war has to break out, and Yahushua is going to claim his throne. After that destruction, man. Claim his throne on the planet Earth after that nuclear destruction, and after this man gets taken out of power. With that, shalom.